Morning children, I am back here to take your English language class. So class 6, what did we do last day? We had started the chapter on the degrees of comparison. So adjectives, degrees of comparison. How many degrees of comparisons are there? There are 3 degrees of comparison. They are positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. We had gone through all the rules how to make comparatives and how to make superlatives by adding er and est, or if an adjective ends with e, then only r and st to make it superlative, r to make it comparative and st to make it superlative. If a word ends in y and if there is a consonant before y, then instead of y we will use ier and iest, but if there is a vowel before the y, then we will only add er and est. Now if a small adjective like big or hot or thin or fat, in such cases what happens is that these are one syllable words. Now in one syllable word, the last letter, which is a consonant, is doubled when we change into comparative. So if I say fat, fat, comparative will be fatter, fatter, and superlative fattest. So in one syllable words, in small adjectives where it ends with a consonant, the last consonant is doubled when I change it to comparative or superlative. So bigger, biggest, or hotter, hottest. Now where the words are more than 2 syllables, like I say beautiful, 3 syllables, isn't it? Difficult. So more than 2 syllables, if adjectives having more than 2 syllables, in such words we will add more to make it comparative and most to make a superlative. Say beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Faithful, more faithful, most faithful. Important, more important, most important. Okay, and the last rule was that here some adjectives are compared irregularly. Now like bad, worse, worst, far, farther, farthest, or further, furthest, good, better, best, late, later, latest, little, less, least, many, more, most, much, more, most. So these are irregular comparatives and superlatives. Okay, now how to use these degrees of comparison in a sentence. Now if I say tomatoes are as costly as lemons, so, or you can say tomatoes are not so costly as lemons, that also we can say. So in this way we have to frame sentences. Honey, sweet, sugar. Honey is as sweet as sugar, or you can say honey is not so sweet as sugar. Okay, so we have to make sentences using these 3 words, honey, sweet and sugar, but in this way, as costly as or not as costly as, in a similar way. Say water, necessary air. Water is as necessary as air. Apples are not so delicious as oranges. Radhika is as pretty as Sunita, or you can also say Radhika is not so pretty as Sunita. That also I can say. Akhtar is not so diligent as Nasir. So you have to frame sentences in this pattern. Okay. Now see this. Manju is taller than her sister, or Manju is the taller of the 2 sisters. Between the 2 sisters, taller. So in 2 ways you can use a comparative or change the degree of comparative. Here either you can say Manju is taller than her sister. If I use taller, it has to be followed by than, taller than. Or I can say Manju is the taller of the 2 sisters. So similarly this landscape is prettier than the other. Avni is more intelligent than her brother. Alok is stronger than his friend. Mr. Gupta is richer than his neighbor. So this is how you will frame the sentences. Now see, the Ganga is longer than the Yamuna. Now I can say it in a different way also. The Yamuna is not as long as the Ganga. The meaning is same, but I am writing it in a different way. I am using the positive degree. Ganga is longer than the Yamuna. Here longer is your comparative degree. So change the degree of comparative and use positive degree. But the meaning should remain the same. So Ganga is longer than the Yamuna, or if I say Yamuna is not as long as the Ganga, it is the same thing. So here in this exercise, you have to change the sentences into positive degree. You have to use the adjectives in the positive degree. Mahabharata is bigger than the Ramayana. The Ramayana is not as big as the Mahabharata. Platinum is costlier than gold. Gold is not as costly as platinum. Aravallis are older than the Himalayas. The Himalayas are not as old as the Aravallis. So the meaning is same, but we are changing the degree of comparison from comparative to positive. Okay, children? And last one is the superlative degree. Here, superlative, the Nile is the longest river in Africa. Mango is the sweetest fruit in summer. Rajni is the cleverest girl in our class. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the USA. The Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. So all these sentences here we have seen that we have used the superlative degree of comparison. Now there's another rule while doing the degrees of comparison. Double comparatives and superlatives. Now I cannot say more taller. You can use only one comparative. He is taller than him. He is more taller than him. That is wrong. In a sentence, you cannot use two comparatives at the same time. Vani is more taller than Amarjit. No. So we should be careful not to use double comparatives or superlatives. Only taller is enough. Vani is taller than Amarjit. That is right. Similarly, I cannot say Mount Everest is the most highest peak in the world. Most again highest is the highest peak. Highest means that is the end. Nothing beyond that. So two superlatives or two comparatives cannot be used together. Just remember this. More taller, more bigger, that is wrong. You either write only bigger but not more bigger. Okay? So in a sentence we cannot use double comparatives or double superlatives. Next we come to much and many. We use much with quantity and many with number. Or we can say that we use much with uncountable nouns and many with countable. So nouns that are countable, there we use many. And nouns which are uncountable, we will use quantity, much. Like much work, I cannot say many work, that is wrong. Much work, much trouble. But many children, many customers, many passengers, many students. So in the case of quantity, we will use much, and in the case of numbers, we will use many. So much and many. Similarly, little, a little, few and a few. Now we use little with quantity and few with number. Little means almost none. There is little sugar in the jar. That means there is hardly any sugar in the jar. No sugar in the jar. There is little sugar, hardly. You will not find much. But if I say a little, that means there is still a little sugar. There is a little sugar. A little means there is still something in the jar. Little help, almost no help. A little help means at least some help. So little goes with quantity and few goes with number. If I say few listeners, that means nobody was there. But if I say a few listeners, at least some listeners were there. So children, remember, little goes with quantity, few goes with number. Only little means nothing And a little means at least something. Few means no one. A few means at least there were some people there. Okay. Next we come to elder, older, eldest and oldest. Now see here. We use elder and eldest only with persons. With things we cannot, buildings we cannot say. This is the eldest building. We cannot say there. Person we can use elder and eldest. We do not use these words with animals or things. Besides, these words are used with members of the same family. Elder brother, eldest brother or eldest sister. There we cannot say oldest sister or oldest brother. That is wrong. Okay. So amongst the family members we can use, so only for persons we can use elder and eldest. And that also belonging to the same family. Okay. My elder brother is a doctor. My eldest sister has got married. Okay, not the oldest sister. That is wrong. If we are going to use than, T-H-A-N, comparatives, she is elder than me, that is wrong. If I use than, then I have to use older and not elder. John is older than his sister, not elder than his sister. My elder brother, elder sister, that is right. But when I am comparing, John is older than his sister, then I will not use elder. I have to use older. So if it is followed by than, then it has to be older. Okay, children? Elder and eldest means from members of the same family. It goes with members of the same family, not for any animals or things. And if we are comparing, then not elder but older. Older than. Older and oldest can be used with persons as well as things. Ritesh is the oldest boy in the class. Okay. Because he is not of the same family. In the whole class, he is the oldest boy. And this is the oldest house in our street. So with persons as well as with things, we can use older and oldest. Okay. So these are the rules of the degrees. These are some more rules in the degrees of comparison. Here also for countables and uncountables. Remember, no double comparatives or double superlatives can be used. Secondly, much goes with quantity, many goes with number. Little, a little goes with quantity, few, a few goes with number. Okay, and elder and eldest goes with person. That also, these words are used with members of the same family. But if it is false, suppose we use than, comparative, say two brothers, we are comparing the ages. So we can, in that case, we will not use elder, we will use older. John is older than his sister. Older and oldest can be used with persons as well as with things. Ritesh is the oldest boy in our class, or he is the oldest man in our society, that I can say, or this is the oldest house in our street, or oldest building, that also we can see. So these are the rules of degrees of comparison. Children, go through this lesson very carefully, learn everything, and then I will ask you to do the exercises. But first you should go through the lesson at least 2 to 3 times, understand. If you have any problem, try to understand it. I have explained everything very carefully. Now it is up to you to understand it. Read it carefully and understand it. Next day I will give you the exercises based on this chapter. Okay then children, bye.